this is 11 honors, and we're looking at chapters 11 through 14. And I wrote at the title for this chapter is The Creature's Tale. And I really think it's a mistake not to write in the book. All right, so if you need your book out, I can't find things sometimes, but I don't lose the book. And you're the same way. If you had little slivers of paper that get all over the place, you're going to lose it. But you're less likely to lose this book. And so if you put the most important things in the book, they're right there. I think this would be, to me, I would give this chapter a title, The Creature's Tale. Because this is literally, so this is the third narrator of the book. Who are the other narrators? Like, who is the overall narrator of the book? Isabella, who is the overall narrator of the book? Anybody remember his name? You're right, that's who it is. Walton. All right, he's the, and then who is the second narrator of the book? He's kind of currently the narrator. That is who is now the narrator, right? But prior to this, like who is narrating the monster's narration? Like who's telling us about the monsters? Victor. So you've got the overall narrator, and he's the narrator, but he's also the writer of the letters. Don't forget all of this. Can you imagine this book in the form of a letter? That's what we're expected to believe. So this is part of the letter that Walton is writing. It's part of this. It's the story that Victor is telling, and the creature's tale is a part of that. Again, I don't have this in front of me. What is that first question?
What did the creature first do according to the story after he left the laboratory where he was created?
All right. What did he do? Where did he go? I don't know if I asked you that or not on the quiz.
Like outside.
Yeah, he went to the woods. He went to the forest near Ingolstadt. So Ingolstadt is the German town where Victor is studying, and he goes to the forest. And one thing I would like for you to note here on these first few pages, he's capable of pain. So as a human being, he can feel pain. He says, he was tormented by hunger. Later, he sticks his hand in a fire, and he hurts. So he feels pain. He's hungry. He was cold. He felt the cold. He had put some clothes on him, so he was tormented by hunger. He felt cold, and he felt physical pain when he put his. But he also feels delight. He sees the woods. I was delighted when I first discovered that a pleasant sound. It was the bird singing. So he is human in that he feels delight. He feels pain. Isabella, what's the next one? Kind of like the first one. Like we said, he delighted it. He liked it, but he felt the physical pains of it with the fire and with the cold. He cannot talk. I mean, he's got a voice. He can make sounds, but he can't speak. How did you learn to speak?
Just through hearing it.
Right, and that's, we'll find out that's how he learns it. Isn't that interesting that we're capable of speaking? Have you ever read anything about Helen Keller? That was a big deal in that book. It's the fact that when she finally learned to speak, because she couldn't see, she couldn't hear. Can you imagine this? She couldn't speak. She couldn't hear or see. Most of the time, if you're blind, you hear really well. If you are deaf, your sense of sight is heightened. But she couldn't see or hear, and yet she learned to speak. How's that possible? I mean, she had the vocal cords for it, but something wasn't working. That's kind of amazing to realize. But anyway, he doesn't have that ability either because he hasn't been around people. How about it, Delaney? What's the next one?
How do people react to seeing him in the village?
You know the answer to that?
They like flee.
And he ran away. They were scared of him. It happened earlier when he went to a small hut on page 104. I don't think I've got the same page numbers, so that's I got to help you. But he went and he was, they ran away from him. Why? Why'd they run away from him?
Afraid.
Of what?
Him.
What about him?
His image.
Yeah, just simply his appearance, because they don't know him, they haven't talked to him. So his appearance is threatening. You probably didn't read this far, did you? Read the next question. I don't have it.
From where does he observe the Delancey family?
Right. And where does he?
Is he just outside?
No, he's out, sort of, yes and no. He's not in their house.
He was done from like the crack in the wall.
So he's in a hut that's attached to the house. He calls it a hovel, Hovel. It's like a storage room. So he goes in there and he's able to look through the wall, literally. And he observes them. And so this is where he lives during this whole experience with the Lacey family. He lives in this hut next to them. I don't remember the next question, Isabella, but I think I do. Yeah, who are they? Is this family? What can you tell me about them? Felix, and who else? Agatha, the two children, and who's the third person? And he's just simply called DeLacy. That's his last name. What do we know about them, Delaney?
Like, what do you mean, like, about them?
Yeah, he finds out all about them.
Isn't Delancey blind?
Yes.
Something?
Yeah.
And then, like, Felix is the son, and they fleed from, or like they got banished.
Okay. Yeah, they were exiled. How do they get along? Do they constantly fight with each other? Do they hate each other? No, they love each other. And the monster, the creature, wish he had a name, be a lot easier. He admires that, because what do they have that he doesn't have? They have a family and people who communicate and love each other. What is the next question?
How does he try to help them?
Yeah. What's the answer?
Like, stop stealing their food,
Yeah.
and like,
That's right.
cut wood for them.
Yes, both. Isn't that funny that he was being kind by not stealing from them, because he was stealing in order to eat. But he did give them he chopped wood for them. How about the next one? Or,
What impressed him about them?
yeah, I think we kind of answered that, but what was it?
Just how loving they were towards each other.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Isabella. Safi, I think. Yeah, who is she? She is Felix's age. I don't know how old Felix is. He's not an old boy, so she's an adult child. And I know the rest of the questions deal with. Okay, I've got these. They deal with their background, but how does he learn to speak and to read?
Listening to them.
Just like we do. Now, to read, Um, can we answer that yet? He gets hold of doesn't he get hold of a book? I'm not sure, but he does learn to read. I'll have to look at that again. I was looking for that yesterday. I was reading it. So, this is not a question I asked you, but it's interesting. What is Frankenstein's downfall? Like, what is the Frankenstein, Victor? What's his downfall? What character trait does he have that caused him all this misery?
Curiosity?
Yes, and particularly curiosity suggests education. He wanted to learn more. So his pride and curiosity. Notice that the monster is becoming that way himself. He learned quickly, but he wanted to learn all he could. Which, going back to Adam and Eve, there's some things we should not know. There's some things we shouldn't pursue, like Eve, the knowledge of good and evil. He, the knowledge of life. So the monster is simply trying to survive. What was their life like before? I don't remember where we are, but Delaney, what was their life like before? And what? Yeah.
They were like rich, and they lived like in a luxurious place.
Yeah. Now, are they always happy? They love each other. That's clear. But are they happy? And why aren't they happy?
They lost everything they had.
Right. And yet the monster envies what they do have. At one point he says, "What more could you want?" What do you think? What's ironic about that? These are people that were wealthy, now they're poor. But they still have each other. They still love each other. Frankenstein says they have all that anybody could hope to have. What do you think the author's trying to tell us there?
All they need is family.
What?
Like, all they need is family.
So this idea of being wealthy and have status, that's really not what makes people happy. So they're not appreciative of what they do have. It's the very thing. And Victor's the same way. What did Victor do with his family? Like, what did he do to his family? While he ignored them. He went over and he wanted to be famous. He wanted to have glory, and he completely ignored, didn't write them, he didn't see them. And so he also gave up the one thing the monster wants. So isn't it kind of interesting? The monster is kind of, as we look at him, we're kind of learning what are the essentials in life. The next book we read, it's not a novel. It's the only non-fiction book we're going to read. And it's about a man who, that's the purpose of the book, is to discover what are the essentials in life. And whatever the essentials are, to do those things. And not waste your time with things that aren't essential. And so Frankenstein, he's kind of discovered what's essential, hadn't he? Family, food, shelter. What more could you want? Love, to be able to read. Have any of you, this is a digression, but have any of you ever seen on Netflix a movie called Anne with an E? Have you actually watched it? Have you watched all of it? You liked it?
Yeah.
I'm watching it now. My wife and I watched. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I'm surprised that I do because, nobody gets killed. There's no shooting and all that. I really like it. Do you know what she's talking about? Do you know what we're talking about? Have you ever seen it? What do you think?
I thought it was really good.
Have you ever read the Anne of Green Gables? Isn't that it? Anne of Green Gables. Have you ever read those? You did?
Yeah.
Are they similar to the movie or different or similar?
Yeah.
Why didn't you ever mention this before? I guess I never asked. Right? Why would he ask me about that? I'm really impressed with it, and I'd like to read one of the books. I know it's for young girls, but I like her. I like her character. Did you like her character?
Honestly, sometimes she was just very dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like,
thought.
the stuff she would say and, like, the way she would act towards stuff, it
Yeah.
was always so, like, poetic for no reason.
And over the top. Some of the things that she did and said, and yet she was the same person that went into the house to protect it, the same person that saved that young girl's life. So she has this strange mix of extremes and level-headed. She's extremely level-headed. I don't know why I mentioned that, except I don't know why I mentioned that right at this point. But she loves to learn, and she loves. I agree. She talks to trees. But she's not crazy. I know, I agree. That's exactly my reaction to her. I really enjoy it. Don't tell me how it ends. But
Are you on season 1?
We just watched season 2, episode 1.
Oh.
These guys are in the house that are living there. They're criminals, but they're living at Green Gables, and they're going to try to fleece the town out of all the, I'm sure, money for the gold they think is there. Huh. That's cool. I really like it. I'd be curious to read some of it. And again, I don't remember what brought my mind to it. What is that's what number 3 made me think of. That they are not appreciative. Frankenstein wasn't appreciative until he lost his family. He's starting to lose his family to the monster. All the monster wants a family. I think sometimes we don't appreciate what we have. Isabella, 4 through 10 deal with the backstory. So why was Safi's father in prison? Well, we don't really know, actually, but we do know who put him there. This is number 4. Why was Safi's father in prison? Do you have this?
What?
You have these.
I have, yeah.
Tell me again.
He falsely accused of going against the government.
Right. That's all we know. We don't know what the details were. How does Felix help?
I don't know.
Do you know, Isabella? You know?
Doesn't he try to help him escape prison?
Very good. Very good. That's exactly right. Right. How does Safi's father repay Felix? Yeah, promises him a lot of things, and I don't know what question it is, but what does he eventually do? The father. He actually betrays Felix. How? Yeah, he just leaves. He leaves without helping Felix, who got arrested for helping the guy get out, and their punishment was exile. Was there any other questions about that? I don't have that in front of me after I thought I did. Because I want to give you credit for that. That helped.
The Lacey's maybe took that.
Yeah, why did they? You mentioned that's right. They had to leave. They couldn't live in France anymore, right? It is France, isn't it? And now they're living in, I guess, I don't know, where are they living?
Germany?
Yeah, I guess they're still in Germany, yeah. All right, so were there any other questions? I do not have them in front of me. Yeah, did you read that far? That might not even have been here. I may have to take that off. Yeah, I may have to take that off. I didn't see that very carefully. I just think it's interesting. The monster begins to read history. Notice he doesn't not trying to compete here with anybody, but he doesn't read science or math or economics. The first thing he reads is history. I think that's important because I wrote down, what is he do, in reading about history and philosophy, what is he learning?
The past
Yeah, of human beings, which he is one. So he's learning about the human race, of which he now is a part. I still have trouble with this, in terms of, believing, I know it didn't happen, it can't happen, and there are things you can still learn, but where did his soul come from? Did the author believe that man didn't have a soul? Does man create a soul? I mean, this isn't an act of birth, this is an act of creation. So how could he put a soul? Where do you get souls, by the way? I think that part, it's pretty superficial to me if you don't explain that. And she doesn't. She doesn't even go there. I don't know what she thinks about it. But anyway, what I was looking at, what advantage did the monster have over human beings? He mentions a little thing, but I thought it was interesting. You remember what he said? He's human, but he has an advantage. I'll read it. I don't know what page it is for you. I was more agile. I could subsist upon coarser diet. I bore the extremes of heat and cold with less injury to my frame. And my stature far exceeded theirs. So he's bigger. He's faster. He didn't have to eat like they ate. He could eat just normal, berries, just things out of the earth. And he could bear the cold and the heat better. So in some ways, he was an improvement on the human beings. What time are we doing with it? 10:40. Okay, guys. All right. So is Thursday good? We've been doing this on Thursday. I'm going to ask you to read for Thursday, 127, 150. I'm going to ask you to read through chapter 18. Did you hear that? 15 through 18 for Thursday. So you have 2 nights to do that. All right, 15 through 18. We'll see you.
Like my homework. And I was just reading literature. Thanks, Isabella.
We need to take that quiz.
Yeah.
We'll go on the second quarter. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll see you. Wendy.